former U.S. President Trump has some immunity from prosecution.
Ukraine declares foiling a coup plot.
Building a civilized urban area from citizens' awareness.
You are watching today's news on NTV channel. My name is Ha Zhang, your host. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the former presidents are entitled to partial prosecution immunity for certain actions taken while in office, paving the way for former President Donald Trump to enjoy partial prosecution immunity in criminal cases, increasing pressure on incumbent President Joe Biden in his race for the White House.
The ruling received support of 6 conservative judges, including 3 appointed by Trump, while 3 liberal judges opposed it. This decision marks the first time since the country's establishment in the 18th century that the U.S. Supreme Court declared that former presidents could be shielded from criminal accusations in any case. Analysts believe that this decision will weaken efforts to prosecute Trump, the first former U.S. president to face criminal charges, including allegations related to attempting to overturn the 2020 election results and involvement in the Capitol riot on January 6, 2021. Additionally, this ruling poses a challenge to Democratic President Joe Biden in the upcoming presidential election on November 5. Immediately following the court ruling, Biden called it a dangerous precedent that undermines justice for the American people.
The Security Service of Ukraine has claimed to full applause of inciting unrest, overthrowing the government and taking over the Parliament House.
According to the SSU, the group of suspects was led by a co-founder of a non-governmental organization operating since 2015, with the goal of eliminating the power of current political and military leaders in Ukraine. The suspects have held several meetings in Kiev. SSU also disclosed that the suspects were found with weapons, ammunition, mobile phones, and computer equipment when arrested. If convicted, they could face up to 10 years in prison and property confiscation. The Security Service of Ukraine, SBU, declared that through these actions, the suspects hoped to weaken the political and social situation in Ukraine, which would benefit Russia. This incident came as Russia is advancing on all fronts while Ukraine continues to face challenges despite receiving additional military support from the US and the Western countries.
As a part of the visit to South Korea, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính attended the Vietnam-South Korea Labor Cooperation Forum and recommended increasing the quota for receiving Vietnam workers in various sectors.
The Prime Minister emphasized that there is huge potential for labor cooperation between the two countries as South Korea is facing an aging population and needs foreign labor sources, while Vietnam still has a young population ready to provide qualified and skilled labor. The Prime Minister also suggested that South Korea continues to expand into new sectors in demand, such as information technology, nursing, and services. In 2023, Vietnam sent over 15,000 workers to South Korea, the highest number in the last 10 years. The number of Vietnamese workers currently ranks first among the 16 countries sending workers to work in South Korea.
Coming up next are some updated news.
In the challenging global environment, Vietnam's trade remains a bright spot, with a total import-export turnover reaching approximately $370 billion in the first half of the year. According to data released by the General Statistics Office, the country's total import-export turnover in the first 6 months increased by 16.03% compared to the same period last year. During this time, exports totaled over 190 billion V, up by 14.5%, while imports reached $178.45 billion, marking a 17% increase and resulting in a trade surplus of nearly $11.7 billion. Major export groups have all shown signs of recovery in terms of order, demonstrated by significant increases in turnover compared to the same period last year.
The Nghệ An Forest Protection Department has issued a warning of high forest fire risks for 7 localities and requested for forest ranger sub-departments and local authorities to proactively implement fire prevention and firefighting plans. The weather in these 7 localities is dry, with prolonged drought posing a high risk of large forest fires and fast-spreading flames. Currently, during the peak of hot weather, Nghệ An Province directs localities to maintain 24/7 surveillance teams at fire observation posts, regularly monitor the forest fire warning system of the Forest Protection Department to timely detect and actively implement appropriate fire prevention and firefighting measures. On the afternoon of July the 1st, a sleeper bus carrying 45 tourists on National Highway 28 went reaching the Cui Cho Pass section in Đắk Nông Province, plugged into a ravage over 30 meters deep. The accident resulted in 22 injuries. Local authorities mobilized personnel and resources to carry out rescue and medical treatment for the victim. Luckily, no fatalities or critical conditions have been reported. The Đắk Nông District Police determined that the cause of the bus accident was due to the driver's unfamiliarity with the road and lack of observation. Information from Vehicle Registration Department also indicated that the bus has expired registration 11 days before the incident occurred. Building a civilized urban area is one of the crucial solutions to create cultural environments, contributing to changing the urban landscape and improving the quality of people's lives. Constructing a civilized urban area is not only the responsibility of the government, but also the responsibility of every citizen. Many years ago, Hoàng Nguyên Cát Street in Hồng Sơn Ward of Vinh City often suffered from encroachment by residents for business purposes, causing traffic disruptions. Since implementing the model of self-management of road security and order, the Veterans Association has promoted awareness, mobilized residents to return public spaces, and to build civilized, clean, and safe streets.
This open and clean street shows the high consensus and agreement of the people. The Veterans Association mobilized the residents to contribute over 500 million Vietnamese dongs.
This initiative brought about positive changes in both perception and action among residents, from implementing the motto, bright gate, clean house, beautiful garden, to contributing to the infrastructure development. Since 2020, Co Lo Town has mobilized 60 billion VND from the people to build more than 600 civilized urban projects.
The ward and block have organized propaganda campaigns to mobilize the people to build model residential areas, civilized urban areas, and received active response of people.
Nghệ An Province aims to have 40% of wards and towns in the Delta region meeting the exemplary civilized urban standards by 2025 and 20% in the Mountainous region. Completing the criteria for a civilized urban will enhance the creative spirit and unity of the people in cultural and socio-economic development, contributing to build a clean and modern urban environment. The last news has ended our bulletin today. Thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.